Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Cold day here in Florida. Oh, man. It's in the 40s, which is very cold for us. We got a lot to talk about today. When I get on the air in a couple minutes, I'm going to jump right into this Lara Ingraham betrayal of President Trump, which is unforgivable. Unforgivable. No doubt about that to me. They don't carry the rally. Now Lara's out there trashing Trump.
That to me. At little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to one pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today.
All right.
954
Here we go.
7060.
This hat won't fit with my headset on, so little hat head. Let me zoom in a little bit. Hold on, guys. There we go.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll free. Dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE.
Yes, that was me sniffing on my mic. I didn't know my mic was on. Welcome, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's Tuesday morning, January 18th, 2022. Have I been saying 21 lately? I probably have. I cannot get used to saying 2022. We have a lot to talk about on the radio today. There is no doubt about that. Your calls are also welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. If you are new to this program, you're going to love it. We're the longest running radio show in the state of Florida for good reason. This is the best radio show on the radio anywhere. I'll put this radio show up against any other. We're live in the mornings from 6 until 9 a.m., broadcasting live on 96.9 FM, 95.3 FM, and AM 1470. We're also on the air 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m. with an overnight rebroadcast of the show from the morning before. All right, so Fox News, the betrayal of Fox News goes even deeper. You know, last week I told you Trump having his first rally of the 2022 election cycle in Arizona on Saturday night was going to be a test of Fox News. And they failed. They did not carry the Trump rally on Fox News Channel. Isn't that, I know, very disappointing. Those of us that are MAGA made Fox News number one. Back in 2000, they were on the air since 94. No one watched it. They were losing out in the ratings to MSNBC. And after the 2000 election, we made them number one. And now what have they done? They have betrayed us. Time and time again. Now, with the rise of Newsmax TV, and there's a new betrayal, which I'm going to get to in a moment. With the rise of Newsmax TV, even beating Fox News Channel in some day parts, they have made some changes. The firing of Chris Wallace was a direct response to the rise of Newsmax TV. They're trying to win us back. Chris Wallace is considered the man responsible at Fox News Channel for the rise of Newsmax TV. They've made some changes, done some lineup changes, moved things around, and they're not so openly anti-Trump. Not carrying the rally, especially the first one, tells me the way they're going. I watched Fox News Sunday, and I watched a lot of it yesterday on Martin Luther King Day, and I watched it for a long period of time for good reason. I wanted to see what their coverage of the Trump rally in Arizona was like on Sunday and on Monday. Did any of you catch the coverage on Fox News Channel? It was non-existent. Non-existent. I didn't hear President Trump mentioned at all yesterday or Sunday. Non-existent coverage of the Trump rally on Saturday. They didn't carry it. Didn't talk about it on Sunday. Didn't cover it at all yesterday. And there was a lot of news made at that rally, including Kari Lake's appearance. Nothing. Then, this morning, when I get up and start doing my show prep, I find out that Lara Ingraham has betrayed President Trump and her core audience. Because I would imagine the core audience of Lara Ingraham are Trump people. Now, Lara Ingraham comes on at 10 o'clock at night. I'm in bed. Okay, my bedtime is no later than 10 because I get up so early to be here in the morning. I don't watch Lara Ingraham. Full disclosure, I never was a huge fan of hers, not because of her politics in the past. I just thought she was kind of annoying. I just wasn't a big fan of hers. But that's, hey, listen, MAGA United. I'll let a lot slide. But what Lara Ingraham has done, I believe, has crossed the line of unforgivable. This is Glenn Beck back in 2015, 2016, when he destroyed himself. And I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to read through this article about Lara Ingraham. It was a print interview she gave where she betrays President Trump. And there's no audio of it because it was in a print interview. But I'm going to read this to you, and then I want to hear your thoughts on it at 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. Lara Ingraham, this is in Mediaite that I'm reading from. Lara Ingraham, one of Fox News' highest rated host, told a local Virginia publication over the weekend, this was over the weekend of the first rally of President Trump's for the red wave election cycle, that she was not entirely there for him yet, the him being Trump, in regard to supporting Donald Trump in 2024. The article was titled, Lara Ingraham might not vote for Trump if he runs. But she's not going to stop talking to his base. The article offers an in-depth look into Lara Ingraham's life and politics. Lara Ingraham, who hosts the 10 p.m. Ingraham Angle on Fox, was one of Trump's earliest supporters ahead of the 2016 presidential election and has stood by him since, at least in public, they say. Isn't that interesting? At least in public. A little messaging there. Lara Ingraham told the magazine this about supporting Trump in 2024. Quote, I'm not saying I'm there for him yet, unquote. Then she goes on. But I think whether he runs or not, his policies work, she added. Trump's blueprint for a policy, forward-looking, optimistic set of pro-American policies, that blueprint, without a doubt, is winning. While Trump is only mentioned briefly in the interview about Ingraham's career and rise to being the most watched female host on cable news, her comments were notable. Ingraham was a Trump White House insider, often advising the president, has been a staunch defender of Trump on Fox News, and has tapped into the Republican base with her controversial style and willingness to always engage in the culture war. Okay, then it goes on about her Christmas cards and things. I want to hear your thoughts on Lara Ingraham. What's going on here? Is she part of what Kari Lake calls the Uniparty, the Republican Democrat Party establishment? Will this stop you from watching Lara Ingraham? Was she ever really a Trump person? Is this interview, because is this interview a signal to us that Fox News is done with Trump? And Fox News, Mike Lindell went on a huge tirade against Fox News at the rally. This is part of the reason why. Lara Ingraham, why would you not be supporting Trump? Lindsey Graham says he's the nominee, and that Mitch McConnell must prove his loyalty to the leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump. Do you consider Lara Ingraham a true conservative who wants to win an election, or part of the Republican establishment that is fine with losing the election so long as the establishment still control the party. Pretty outraged by this, and I think she did it in a print interview for a couple of reasons. I think maybe the reporter got something out of her that she wouldn't do on television, got her with the walls down and got a little bit of honesty out of her. But I think it's a soft way to get out there, and I'll tell you, this is a big mistake. I think what Lara Ingraham has done in this print interview is a lot like what Ted Cruz did a couple weeks ago when he referred to the Capitol breachers as terrorists. Remember that? And then he spent the whole time in the last 2 weeks trying to undo that mistake. Is this at that level? I would tell you, I think that it is. There's one time to say you're not voting for President Trump in 2024. You know when that time is? When he says he is not running and he were to endorse someone else, which he's not going to do because he is running. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Now, I know a lot of you out there watch Lara Ingraham. I want to hear your thoughts. Will this change your viewing habits at all? Will this change your opinion of her at all? Should we ignore this? I want to hear your thoughts on all of this. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere, no matter where you are listening to us from. This is really upsetting to me. I was very disappointed. I know she goes way back with the establishment. She clerked with Clarence Thomas. She had a job when she was young in the Reagan administration. So I understand that she's Republican establishment. But I thought she was one of those Republican establishment people that had escaped and was with us. This tells me she is not with us and she's not with President Trump. That's what it tells me. I really have zero patience for these Republicans that tell us, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to vote for Trump. It's time to move on from Trump. This is defeatist talk. Okay? This is complete defeatist talk. It is undermining us. I don't know if she talks this way on her television show because I don't watch it. It's on too late, like I said. You guys let me know. What is what she said here consistent with the tone that she has on her television show? Let me know. I don't know. I don't watch it. I'll tell you this, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it now. Very disappointed in Lara Ingraham. Not that, you know, Ann Coulter was out there trashing Trump again, too. You know, and Ann Coulter, I was a huge fan of Ann Coulter. Oh, man, I was a huge fan of Ann Coulter until Trump came down the escalator. And then Ann Coulter, she's talking to the New York Times, and listen to this. Conservative firebrand Ann Coulter has said she is officially done with President Donald Trump and wants the far left-leaning media to be done with him too. Ann Coulter wrote an email to the New York Times and said this, quote, Ann Coulter, Trump is done. You guys should stop obsessing over him. Ann Coulter's comment was the latest in a long line of Trump bashing from the one-time Trump loyalist. I don't remember those days. When was she a Trump loyalist? That must have been a short-lived period. Coulter's comments were published Sunday in a New York Times article chronicling the recent media spat between Ron DeSantis and Trump, which is totally fake news. President Trump did not diss Ron DeSantis. Fake news and lies planted by never-Trumpers, Democrats, liberals, Republican establishment people. Is Ann Coulter and Lara Ingraham, are they like a team here? Are they working together? This is a disappointing day. Very disappointing day. Ann Coulter we knew about for a few years. She was always out there trashing President Trump. But Lara Ingraham? Put her on the list. Never Trumper list. That list gets longer all the time. Let's take our first break of this Tuesday morning edition of Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465 2631. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to see
Wesley Lewis, $10 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, please thank Wesley Lewis. Good morning, Brian. I'm not surprised.
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the
What Laura Ingraham said in print, I've noticed over years she's been critical of Trump. Really?
Debbie's office, the number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right. Oh, man. Okay, so there's more. Okay? There's more. So Laura Ingraham has betrayed us. She has betrayed Trump. She has betrayed the entire MAGA movement. She could no longer be trusted, in my opinion, based on this comment. She's not sure if she's going to be with Trump in 2024. That's insanity to me. Now, Lara Logan, who's a sex assault victim and an incredible reporter, when's the last time you've seen her on Fox News Channel? I haven't seen her on there in, it seems like, months, right? And she's a great reporter. She made those comments about Fauci and Mingle. Remember that? Lara Logan, she has been dropped by her agent. Lara Logan, the former 60 Minutes correspondent, who as of late has earned a reputation for pushing conspiracy theories at Fox News. Really, what conspiracy theories are those? This is the liberal media I'm reading from. I'm sorry. She has been dropped by her talent agency, these are her agents, UTA, over controversial comments she made about Dr. Anthony Fauci. UTA's chief communications officer confirmed that the agency cut ties with Logan several weeks ago. The veteran journalist was dropped after she sparked controversy by comparing the top U.S. infectious disease expert to Nazi Dr. Mengele on Fox News. She was talking to Pete Hegseth with that. A UTA insider confirmed to Mediaite that Logan was let go over her highly offensive and unacceptable comments, which sparked outrage within the talent agency. It says here she was never employed by Fox News, but hosted a show on the network streaming platform Fox Nation, which I've seen a couple episodes of, and it's very good. She did one episode I talked about where she went to the sex trafficking town in Mexico, where all the sex traffickers bring the sex traffic victims to before they come into America, and It was very dangerous. So she's not doing that anymore. So they've gotten rid of Lara Logan because she criticized Fauci. We've got Laura Ingraham not supporting Trump. And how many never-Trumpers are over there? They don't cover the rally. They don't air the rally. And then they don't give coverage the next day or even Monday on Martin Luther King Day about it. When yesterday was a day that they were really searching hard for news. Let me tell you, if you continue to watch and support Fox News Channel and you're loyal to them, you're like Hillary Clinton with Bill Clinton every time a new woman came forward. You're like an abused woman in an abusive marriage who people are like, why does she stay with that man? He beats her. I don't know. Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know. This is disgusting. And I'll tell you, last night I didn't turn on Tucker Carlson at 8. So disgusted by their lack of coverage on the Trump rally. I stayed over Newsmax and I watched Grant Stitchfield. He's great. Comes on at 8 o'clock on Newsmax TV. I'll put him up against Tucker any day. I was very impressed by what he did last night. He had Michael Savage on as a guest. They were talking about this incident in Texas, which Michael Savage brought some things up I want to ask you all about as well. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louisiana.
Yeah, say Louisiana. What's up?
Hey, man, you doing all right this morning?
I'm always all right.
Yeah, I am too. Hey, I want to call and tell you, like I told you once before, the minute anybody says something against Trump, y'all turn on them like some dogs.
That's right.
And you see, Lara Ingraham and Fox. I don't watch Fox News much, but Fox News did have a little segment on Fox and Friends Sunday morning about Trump's speech. It wasn't much talk.
Not much, yeah, not much. Let me say this to you and the listening audience. This is how down low Fox News has gotten. We've got liberal Democrat Trump haters calling in, praising Fox News and their journalistic standards. That's how bad it is at Fox News.
But what I'm saying is, they're just like, that's what I'm saying. Trump, anybody saying anything negative about Trump, y'all go after.
Correct.
Y'all really, why do y'all do that?
Well, before I tell you why we do that, why do you think that is first, and then I'll tell you the real reason.
Because
we're in a cult, watch.
Y'all think Trump is a guard. Y'all think Trump is not, nobody was better than Trump. Trump, that's your opinion of him.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think Trump doesn't do any wrong.
Well, he doesn't, and he hasn't.
Like I told you yesterday, he has divided this country so much with his.
All right, now that's enough. Every politician, we talked about this. Okay, but let's talk about today. Excuse me, we're going to talk about you asked me a question. You asked me. All right, you don't want to talk to me, then goodbye. Liberals are, as I said yesterday, oh man, I almost spilled my whole cup of coffee. That would have been a disaster. That's why I keep my coffee far away from the radio equipment. As I said yesterday to that caller, liberals and Trump haters are welcome to call and have discussions, okay? But you don't get to call in and do your list of things, and then we don't discuss them. Why? Okay, so I'm going to answer the question from Louisiana, and I'm not sure if that's a man or a woman, quite frankly. I don't know if that's a man or a woman. I don't know. It's not important. Liberal from Louisiana. They asked the question of this. Why do we attack people who go after Trump like this? Because Trump is the key to victory. We're taking our country back. This story I talked about on my podcast last night. Do you know there were 5 companies that Nancy Pelosi's son has had dealings with that have been investigated by federal authorities for corruption? Grant Stitchfield on Newsmax TV had another story on a different aspect of the family corruption of Nancy Pelosi. This is how the whole government works. All right? And Trump is the only one who can save us from this and actually be out there and represent the voters. Everything everyone else does in government is to enrich themselves by having their families, like Pelosi and Hunter Biden and others, with all these corrupt deals. In fact, 5 companies Nancy Pelosi's son is involved in. Maybe I'll pull the article up and go through it later. I went through it in detail on my podcast last night. 5 companies have been investigated by the feds, and most of them are green companies. One of them is a company that tested prescription medications on elderly people without their permission, without their knowledge. And Nancy Pelosi is passing legislation that benefits these companies that her husband buys stock in or that her son works for. Trump was breaking that scam up in Washington. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, 2 calls in a row from Louisiana. We're remember hot in Cleveland with Betty White? We're hot in Louisiana, the Steve Kane Show.
Yeah, don't, look, I said it before about that last particular caller. He puts a bad light on, he or she, whatever it is, puts a bad light on people like me, but you're right, this is the corruption we know has been as evidenced by Nancy Pelosi and, of course, the person who's currently occupying the White House, And you're right. I don't tend to watch. I'm up at that time. I don't tend to watch Lara Ingraham. I don't tend to watch. If I watch anything, it'll be Newsmax at that point.
Well, when she says she's not ready to support and vote for Trump in 2024, that's insanity to me. That puts her on the Never Trumper list right at the top because she's been kind of stealth off my Never Trumper radar. Maybe she's always been a Never Trumper. I don't know, but that was like a coming out moment in that interview.
Yeah, for a long time, Ann Coulter was a Trump person. I mean, she would tell the story about after he comes down the thing. She'd say they asked me who would win, and it's going to be Trump. And that's
well, saying Trump's going to win doesn't mean she supported him. I don't remember Ann Coulter being a Trump supporter. I mean, maybe she was for a minute, but I don't remember. Hey, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. Standing up for the honor of Louisiana. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning, caller. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, once. Yo, I was just about to let you go. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, I guess that one didn't work out. I should have just taken the break like I was supposed to. Yes, hello.
Yes, this is Stacy from New Jersey.
Stacy in New Jersey. What's up?
Listen, I used to watch Lara Ingraham, and I always knew she was a traitor to Trump.
Really? Why? How'd you know that? This is news to me.
Yeah, because she bounced from place to place, different news channels.
Well, she used to be, now I remember, now it just popped in my head now that you say that, she used to be a host on MSNBC years ago.
Yeah, but she couldn't fit in. So when she said that she was a Trump supporter, that's how she got put on Fox News.
Oh, okay.
So she always been a traitor. We always knew it. Well, I did anyway. I stopped watching her. I prefer to watch Repeat to You before I would watch her.
No, that's great. Thank you.
You guys are truly the best. I love you guys. But Lara Ingraham needs to go.
Yes, I agree. Or at least we need to go away from Fox News Channel.
Oh, I stopped watching them after the election up.
Yeah. Well, so did a lot. Listen, Newsmax is number 4, right behind MSNBC. That means they're beating Fox Business and CNBC. And if people turned on Newsmax, which Newsmax did something amazing yesterday I'm going to talk about, but if people turned on Newsmax on their televisions and they all of a sudden beat MSNBC in the ratings and became number 3, that the media, including Fox News, would have meltdowns over that. They would be in panic mode, if we could bring Newsmax TV to beat MSNBC. It would send shockwaves through the corporate mainstream never-Trumper media.
Newsmax needs to buy CW channel and go that way.
That sounds like a good idea. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, New Jersey. Take care. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, 33 minutes after the hour. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Well, we're entering the third year of COVID. It hit the country hard. Hit the country hard for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons that we were hit the hardest is we weren't prepared when it came to PPE, because everything was manufactured in China. On the line, we have former Congressman David Emery. He's now CEO of Strategic Manufacturers, a subsidiary of SBDG. He wants to bring PPE manufacturing back here to the United States. David Emery, what's the big deal about nitrile gloves and PPE?
Well, you said it in the introduction. We weren't prepared. Well over 90% of the gloves that we use are manufactured overseas. We were gouged. So your average physician, nurse, emergency worker simply couldn't get the gloves to keep them and their patients safe. And that's intolerable.
A lot of people say you can't make anything in the United States anymore. It's too expensive. It costs too much. We don't have the materials here. How are you going to bring production of PPE to the United States?
Well, the reason we can't is because we haven't. We gave it up. It was a policy for 3 or 4 decades that we build all the fancy stuff here and all the average stuff we import. And now we're paying the price for it. We certainly can build things here. We have the skills, but we have to have the willpower to do so. And that is the central focus of SMI. Bring manufacturing back to the United States. Through our analysis and our due diligence, we believe this is not only profitable, but will lead the way for other companies in the future to continue the trend to remove dependence on foreign resources for critical materials.
Now, people who are in the listening audience who want to participate, who want to help make us independent when it comes to PPE, how can they participate?
Well,
okay, well, here's... let me put my mic back on. Okay, here's the thing with the Newsmax app. I watched the Newsmax app, and I had been mostly watching Newsmax on YouTube. And that's fine. Newsmax is great. But to get them beating MSNBC, we got to take one step at a time. To get them to beat MSNBC in the ratings, you got to watch them on television if you have them on your cable system, because that's where they get the ratings count, okay? So I'm starting to keep them on my TV. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
654-6870. 919-654-6870. Online, strategicmanufacturers.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, 36 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard, Kentucky.
Richard in Kentucky. What's going on?
Well, your questioner, the one Laurel story answers the other Laurel story. You know, it's the agent, it's the producer, it's the people in the background that leads these people down the bad road. You know, I mean, it's it's just all the people in the background put the pressure on the people in the front. You know, because they lead them, through their career. And a lot of them they're collapsing their own careers. Just because the mind, it's like the woke crowd is taking over.
Well, Fox News Channel has made a decision not to cover President Trump on the campaign trail. They didn't carry the rally Saturday night. They didn't talk about it in their coverage Sunday or Monday. And Lara Ingraham could very well be throwing Trump under the bus like this in this interview because the Fox News bosses are putting the pressure on her to do it.
Oh, exactly. That's why they're killing their own career. Nobody else would do this for no other reason. You know, you don't fly one way and then the next day fly another way unless somebody's doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every younger group of that company that owns Fox took over. You know, it's totally changed. You know, I was the biggest Fox fan. And
oh yeah, never left my TV. Let me ask you a question, Kentucky, because a lot of people in the audience, especially liberals, they don't get. When someone isn't loyal to Trump, I'm done with them, and I know probably you and many others are too, for good reason. You know, is that a bad thing to you? I mean, people that are trashing Trump, that are disloyal to Trump and going around calling themselves Republicans, I think we should cut them off. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm tickled to death to get them out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like even like with Lindsey Graham. Right now, he's trying to say Trump's the number one. But he does that. When he needs it, he's out there saying, but we don't need to fall in on him, you know, now that he says he's back with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, but absolutely, you know, it's like this. The man had, like you're saying, the man has done no wrong. I mean, everybody has tried. The whole world has investigated the man. The whole world has tried to pin something on him. And you just can't get no cleaner.
Here's the deal, okay? The reason they're after Trump is many. But mostly, the main reason, it all centers around one thing and one thing only. The corruption of Washington, making money off of insider deals with China, Ukraine, corporate donors, etc., etc., and Trump put a stop to that. And that's why the establishment are after him.
Oh, exactly. And a lot of people don't realize it's actually the EV auto industry that was after Trump.
Electric vehicles, yes.
There's over 100 new models coming on market this year alone.
Yeah, and those cars are, you know, my brother-in-law has a Tesla, and a nice Tesla, you know, because he drives far for work, and it's good for him going to work and back. He went to drive it from Miami to Disney World, which is about a 3.5, 4-hour drive from his house in South Miami to Walt Disney World. They had to stop halfway there. They were out of charge. And they had to stop for quite some time to charge up the car. Me, I'm just driving. You know, I don't have to stop like that unless I got to pee. You know, I got to stop for that. But that takes 5 minutes, right? But what kind of vehicle is that?
Yeah, but that's what they want people to do because, see, when you have to stop for that certain amount of time for that charge, you're going to spend money. See, that's what these charging stations are all about. It's the property. Imagine if you got a Starbucks across the road from one of them charging stations. Now, you believe your brother would have stopped there, plugged in his car, and went over and spent money in Starbucks or a Gucci bag shop at the store. See, it's a whole conglomerate of things there.
Well, I tell you, one thing that's very strange is Wawa, the big gas station, convenience store chain. We have the Wawas here. The Wawa down the street from the radio station has a whole bunch of Tesla charging stations at it. It's a gas station. Kind of crazy, isn't it?
But they're going to change that over. But
yeah, that means that they plan on being an electric charging station, not a gas station. At some, they may end up having one pump in the future.
Oh no, they're totally changing us whether we want to or not. But what gets me is who's going to buy all these cars? I was looking. I did a little survey on them. Every one of them are like $75,000 and up. Now, not everybody can afford them.
Well, then you got to ride a bicycle, you know. But getting back to this though, anyone who is not 150% in support of Trump in 2024 are on the Never Trumper list. And now this does not mean that Lara Ingraham's not going to do some good programming that helps us, helps Trump, that we like, okay? But when it comes to Election Day, who's she voting for, do you think? Right? So if Trump is the nominee, and I want to ask you guys this. I want to ask you first, and I want to ask other callers. 2024, it's Trump versus whatever Democrat, right? Biden, Hillary, whoever. Based on this latest information from Lara Ingraham, in 2024, if it's Trump versus any Democrat, who do you think Lara Ingraham will vote for?
Any Democrat.
Yeah, just like Mitt Romney, George Bush. You know, yesterday Mitt Romney said it's been 52 bad weeks for Biden. Then why'd you vote for him, Mitt? You jerk. You know, so, you know, Mitch McConnell. Do you think Mitch McConnell voted for Trump or Biden?
He voted for Biden.
Exactly. So you think Ann Coulter in 2024, if it's Trump versus any Democrat, will vote Democrat?
Oh, no, she'll vote Democrat.
Oh, my goodness.
Or she won't vote, either one.
No, she'll vote. She'll vote. Hey, listen, Kentucky, thank you for the call. Oh, man, what do you guys think? Will Laura Ingraham vote for Trump or the Democrat in 2024? So we were talking, well, you know what? Let me take this break. We'll be right back after this.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bullet holes in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire.
Hey guys, in the chat room, tell me this: Laura Ingraham, 2024. Will she vote for Trump or the Democrat? So you can just put Trump or Dem. Which do you think she'll vote for? Trump or Dem?
Customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires because they also sell used tires.
Trump if you think she'll vote for Trump. Dem if you think Laura Ingraham will vote for a Democrat in 2024.
Half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000-mile warranty on the tires.
No, it's either Trump or Dem.
They never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire.
No other choices. Wow.
The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
So you guys see, I wore this. It's 48 degrees this morning. I wore this to work. Wesley, $5 super chat. I don't get many opportunities to wear this in Florida. You like this hat? Is this not the best MAGA hat?
Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com.
Wesley Lewis, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley for that super chat. Now let's see what other Fox News rats come out of the woodwork. Will Hannity be next? Is he truly a never-Trumper? Not from what I've seen so far.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet.
Oh yeah, this is an awesome hat.
We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Hi, Tom Laporta here.
Steve Kane Show.
Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building
Hold on.
Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and...
This hat, though, I can't wear it with my headset mic. I can't. First, it covers up my ears. I can't hear. And too much on top.
Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate. And go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at LaportaContracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
Welcome back. 47 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bobby in Cooper City.
Hey, Bob. Oh, yeah. Steve. You're in Steve's neck of the woods.
I'm sorry, you're a little broken up.
Okay, go ahead. What's on your mind?
I got a question. So,
Here we
my
go.
son, he was homesick with the COVID, but he never had it. So he tested positive, but he had to do online
He was asymptomatic. Okay.
Right. So he was struggling with some questions. So he screenshotted me a picture of his question, and the question from the school on his test was, who is most likely to vote for the answer was A or B, Republican or Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't have anything to do with the critical race. So what kind of question would that be?
What subject was that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Why don't you screenshot that and send it to me? Yeah, okay. All right, I appreciate that. The answer to the question is Republican are most likely to vote for the death penalty. I don't know. I don't believe that caller. I don't know if I believe that. I need to see the screenshot of that. He took a lot of interest in the kid's class until when it came to the subject he didn't know. I don't know. I don't buy that. I'm not gonna get off track here. When that caller called in, I said to the YouTube chat off air. I didn't say this on the radio. I said it just off air to the YouTube chat. I said, watch this guy. I could tell by his tone. That is, see, you guys, I have a highly trained skill set when it comes to talk radio, in particular callers. What that caller was attempting to do, and I could tell by the first words out of his mouth, you know what it was? What do you think? Get us off exposing Lara Ingraham as a never-Trumper. That was a seminar caller trying to get the direction of the show into something else about critical race theory or our education system, as opposed to exposing Fox News Channel. Gotta have a highlight. Send me the screenshot of your kid's thing, then we'll talk about it, all right? So, this was, yesterday we talked about this. Over the weekend it came out that DirecTV, which is owned by AT&T, is dropping One American News, OAN. And I know some of you will say, well, Brian, you've been saying for years that One American News is boring. Yes, they're boring. They have some good reporters. They do some good pieces. In fact, I have on my phone some reporting that I've seen on One American News that I took screenshots of and kept permanently on my iPhone, believe it or not. It doesn't mean they're not boring. They're boring. There are lots of things that are informative and talk about things that typically I'd have interest in, but are boring. Just because I believe they're boring doesn't mean that I don't support conservative media. One American News was taken off of DirecTV by AT&T for the same reason Lara Logan was dropped by Fox News and dropped by her talent agency. It's because they're not toting the party line. They want One American News off because of their content. Okay? Rand Paul announced yesterday he canceled. Rand Paul had DirecTV. He canceled his DirecTV subscription because they canceled One American News. And Rand Paul said, why give money to people who hate us? And Newsmax TV did something amazing. They did this throughout the day yesterday. My wife told me, I didn't catch it all during the day, but I was watching Eric Bolling on Newsmax yesterday. He's on at 4 o'clock. And his last segment was about this very story, about One American News being dropped by DirecTV and AT&T. And I thought that was amazing because I kind of thought Newsmax might have viewed One American News as competition, as a threat. And Eric Bolling broke some news to me that I did not know about DirecTV and One American News. One American News, I first discovered them back during the 2015-2016 campaign. And this is how I found them, One American News. And I watch them all the time. The media were all carrying the Trump rallies because they thought he was a joke. Oh, he's just a Kardashian reality star. He was not really a reality star. He was, but Donald Trump was the definition of capitalism. Like if they made Monopoly today, the Monopoly guy would be Trump. The Apprentice was created because Trump is the textbook example of American exceptionalism when it comes to business. That the show was created around him, not the other way around. The Kardashians are famous because their father was best friends with O.J. Simpson and defended him and helped him get away with murdering 2 people. And Kim Kardashian made a porno movie with Ray J that got leaked out and went viral. Great people. You're going to compare them to Trump? I don't think so. Once the media, including Fox, started to realize that President Trump it was real, it was happening, he was going to win, then they stopped carrying the rallies. One American News stopped on a dime. They carried every single Trump rally, and they still do today. But back in 2015, back in 2016, there was nowhere to go to catch the Trump rallies. Even Fox News, they would have a little tiny square at the bottom right of the screen, and, and I watched One American News with an incredible amount of loyalty until I discovered the new Newsmax TV. Okay? Yeah. And I had them on my cable system, and then I switched cable from AT&T to Xfinity, and I didn't realize they didn't have One American News. And I actually paid for the monthly subscription for the One American News app to have it on my television. It's $5 a month. So I thought it was amazing that Newsmax TV spent a great portion of their programming yesterday, including in their prime time, talking about what's going on with One American News and DirecTV. I thought it was amazing. And what Eric Bolling broke on his program, his last segment was about the DirecTV One American News issue. And Eric Bolling pointed out, he's a financial guy. One American News, 90% of their revenue comes from DirecTV and AT&T. They're not just carried on DirecTV, they're also carried on AT&T's cable system. And there's no word on whether or not AT&T is going to continue to carry them or not. But if they're losing 90% of their revenue, they're not going to be able to survive. There have been people, and there are people right now, that Pellegrino, who's on at night on Newsmax, was one of the White House correspondents for One American News last year. They may poach some people from One American News and bring them over to Newsmax. I don't know. But Rand Paul canceled DirecTV. Have any of you canceled DirecTV? I don't have DirecTV. I had DirecTV many, many years ago. I had DirecTV so many years ago. I got rid of it I don't even know. I almost said this on the air yesterday, and I thought, oh, this is embarrassing. I shouldn't tell you. But even though I've not had DirecTV for over a decade, I still have the dish on the side of my house. And I'm painting my house in the next few weeks, so I'm going to have to take off the dish when I paint the house. And, the last time I painted the house, I painted around the dish. And then we canceled it, and I kept it up there because if I took it off, it wouldn't match, So I'm going to take the dish off the house when I paint it in a few weeks. But then I guess I'll put the DirecTV dish out for the trash man, where it belongs, DirecTV. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-COCAINE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie the bus driver. What's up?
The head of AT&T, the chairman of the board, used to work in the Obama administration.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's all tied in. They want to, and Mark Levin last night exposed that, and Mark Levin basically on Fox says we need all the conservative voices.
Absolutely.
We can't be cut off. Now I'm going to say this to you. First thing you do, I turn on the news on Channel 12 Palm Beach, which is CBS Palm Beach. You get that, and the first 5 minutes is how DeSantis and Trump with the fake news crap that DeSantis won't say that he's not going to primary Trump.
And that's not true, by the way. CBS Channel 12 in Palm Beach. Ron DeSantis has said that he will not run against President Trump. He has said that on television.
This reported news. But now when it comes to Lara Ingraham, please, you read the article. You know how they twist things with these print articles. I would like to. Lara Ingraham, I've been watching her for a long time, my friend. She's 150% for Trump. And for whoever printed that, total lie. Total fake.
I don't know. She said it. She said she is not behind him yet. It's a print interview she gave over the weekend, and she has not, Lara Ingraham said it's not true. And this came out over the weekend.
Yeah, but the interviewer twisted the words of Lara Ingraham.
Well, how do you know that? Lara Ingraham, did she go on television last night and say it's a lie?
I don't know if she even seen it.
Now, of course she's seen it. She did the interview. Of course she knows about it. This story was out there already.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this to you. I have never seen her not for Trump. So, I mean...
Okay, so if you find out that she did say this to this print reporter, then what would you think?
I would be upset, and I do know the only reason she would have said that.
But why? Why is the only reason she would say that?
Okay, the big question mark is because of the age of President Trump when he gets old.
No, the reason she would say that is two reasons. She's part of the Republican establishment, that's one. She started out with Reagan. She's with the establishment. And Fox News has made a decision to not cover Trump, and they could be putting pressure on her.
That's management, but she's 100% for Trump. I'm telling you, I see...
Well, not according to this. And she has not... This story came out over the weekend, and she's had a couple of days now to say, this is not true. I support President Trump. I did not say that, and she has not. If someone was out there telling people that I told them I wasn't going to vote for Trump, I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs, liar.
Listen, we can't divide this. You see what's happening now. They're trying to divide MAGA. This whole thing is divided.
Well, the question is Lara Ingraham MAGA?
I believe she is.
Yeah, so you want to ignore the truth. All right, Richie, it's 7 o'clock. Got to run for the top of the hour. He's got a thing for her. That's part of that. We'll be right back. Second hour begins now.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for brakes, and that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up in the lift, pulled the wheels, because you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow. Well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack, they're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network.
WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product, My Slippers. They took me over 2 years to develop because I didn't want just an ordinary slipper. My slippers are meant to be worn all day long, no matter what you're doing, whether you're inside or outside. My slippers come with an exclusive 3-tier cushioning system that you won't find in any other slipper. It combines 2 layers of foam, including my proprietary My Pillow foam and a patented impact gel made from U.S. soybeans. My 3-tier cushioning system is going to help relieve pressure points, provide that micro support you need for all-day comfort, and help prevent fatigue. Not only that, my slippers are made with high-quality leather and a premium indoor-outdoor sole that make them extremely durable. I personally guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable slippers you'll ever own.
And right now, save 40% off the My Pillow My Slippers when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Wesley Lewis, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Wesley Lewis. Richie, what planet are you on? I totally disagree with you 110%. Laura Ingraham has subtly criticized Trump time and time again over the years.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long.
Now, I'm going to ask a question when I get back. If you guys know about this rabbi in Texas,
with offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale.
And if you know the answer, let me know. Call me on the air.
37821.
Oh, I got a thread on my shoulder. I saw it in the camera.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, thank you. Make sure you like the video. If you're new, subscribe. And don't forget, tell your friends to subscribe to this channel, too, please.
And now, here's...
Reformed rabbis typically are Democrats, right? Reformed Jews typically are liberal Democrats, right? We have a lot of Reformed Jews here in Florida, and most are Democrats. But what Michael Savage said about the rabbi, the hero rabbi, and he is a hero. He saved lives. He took the chair. He hit the guy. He hit the terrorist with the chair, and everyone escaped. So he is a hero. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not questioning his heroism. But what Michael Savage said, and this is what I want you guys to let me know if this is true or not. Michael Savage said that he is an anti-Zionist rabbi. And I have heard other rabbis, I have heard rabbis that are anti-Zionist. There's an organization, Jews Against Zionism, which is very strange. Is that true? Is the rabbi in Texas a rabbi against Zionism, which means he's against the state of Israel? I don't know. All I know is Michael Savage said it last night, and this is why it's important. How many synagogues are there in Texas as compared to here in Florida? You know, you could find temples all over the place here in Boca, right? We have a very large Jewish population in Florida, a huge, humongous Jewish population here in Boca, where the radio station is. In fact, outside of Israel, we have probably the largest Jewish population. We have more Jews in Florida maybe than even in Israel. I don't know. Texas, though, how many Jews are there in Texas? How many temples are there in Texas? Here, it's easy to find temples. They're all over the place. Just drive down the road, you'll pass one. In Texas, is it that easy to find a Jewish temple, the synagogue? Is it that easy? So what I'm wondering is, if what Michael Savage said is true, and I don't know that it is true, but I trust Michael Savage. You guys trust Michael Savage? He was on Newsmax last night. He said the rabbi is an anti-Zionist rabbi. If that is the case, what that suggests is that this terrorist didn't just coincidentally go to that synagogue necessarily, based on what Michael Savage said. So if any of you have any information on that, I certainly welcome it. And that could be where the confusing statement and bizarre statement from the FBI comes from, by the way. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. I did some research online and couldn't find... I saw that he's gotten some LGBT awards. He's liberal. I know that. He's a liberal Democrat and a social justice warrior, the rabbi. He's a hero. What he did was heroic. Liberals can be heroes too on occasion, and he was heroic. But when Michael Savage said that last night, I was like, whoa. And I immediately went online looking. I couldn't find anything about that. So I don't know where Michael Savage got that from. All right, if you guys have any intel on that, let me know. 1-888-GO-CANE. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Dave from West Virginia.
Yeah, Dave. What's up?
Hey, I'm calling about that this situation with Lara Ingraham.
Mm-hmm.
Never cared for her. She always seems like she's snooty, know-it-all, and Ann Coulter's even worse. Never liked Ann. What really turned me off on Ann Coulter a while back, a couple years ago, she claimed about people who have ever collected welfare that we were a bunch of bums and we were no good, and that was basically it for me for her.
Mm-hmm.
Lara, like I said, Lara just constantly comes off like she thinks that she knows everything about everything. And her voice is so annoying, I can't stand it.
No, I agree. I didn't like Lara on the radio. Are you on welfare?
No, I'm actually, I collect disability now, but...
oh, that's not welfare. Disability, you're, yeah.
I'm in my life, I've had to, I got into a bad car wreck and had to collect welfare.
No, that's what welfare's for.
Right, but Ann Coulter came out and she made this comment about how people that did that were a bunch of bums and we weren't worth...
Well, she's an elitist. When she was young, she worked in the Reagan White House, so she's an elitist who's very well connected. She also worked for Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. So, so she's an elitist who never had to worry about her next meal or the next tank of gas, you know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's what we're looking at right now. It's the same people for 40 years, been running the show, and not a one of them is worth a spit.
Except Donald Trump.
Yeah, I like Don. I met Don in '88 in New York, and he was a good guy.
Oh, really, Don? You know him that well? You call him Don?
I know him real good. I just met him. I was up there for I was going to meet an artist that lives up there in New York City, and we happened to go down to the Trump Tower down there, and we didn't just hello, how you doing, and off he went, type of thing. But my buddy Den Bouvier just got his painting put in Mar-a-Lago.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I know Den real well, and but yeah, it's just I've been listening to you, and for the last couple years, I won't lie, I only started picking you up when Trump became back in 18.
That's okay.
I've talked to you before on the radio, but like I said, she's just, I just truly feel that if you were to sit down and have a conversation with her, she wouldn't know a thing about a normal individual.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really aggravates me.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing about Trump. A lot of people don't understand how a guy who's worth $10 billion, when he was a toddler, his dad had him on the payroll. He was making like $250,000 a year when he was like 2 or 3 years old, And how can he be so relatable? And President Trump, he talked about it. He was on the work sites from the time he was a child with his dad until he was, and then on his own as an adult with working people.
And then he turned around to the same thing with his son.
Yeah, and they make payroll and everything, so they know what people go through and what people earn and what they understand and appreciate the cost of things and all of that. It's an unusual thing for someone that rich who's always been wealthy to be so in touch.
He was in construction. When you're in construction like that and building, you have to form a relationship with these guys. These guys are your bread and butter. Each one of these individual guys that's just a bricklayer or a pipe fitter or a carpenter. These guys are, they're highly skilled individuals, and yeah, okay, they're not millionaires, but they make a really good living. And I think that is something that we have failed to understand. Mike Rowe has made a big push for all that. With his Dirty Jobs.
Yeah, Dirty Jobs is back, by the way. Hey, listen, West Virginia, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Oh, I think this Laura Ingraham is certainly no Ann Coulter. Not that I hope, but I've never heard Laura say anything negative about Trump. I think maybe she made a slip of the lip or something, because something doesn't make sense. I mean, why would she? Who could possibly be any better than President Trump? I mean, she seems pretty smart. I don't see why she would be throwing him under the bus. But maybe she has a change of heart. But I'm hoping that that's all fake news.
Well, Laura Ingraham goes back to the Republican establishment of the 80s and 90s. You know, so, you know, I think a lot of people aren't aware of that or have forgotten that.
Well, you know, I'll tell you one thing. You know, most people didn't know who Trump was other than his TV personality. And then once you start listening to him, everybody fell in love with the guy. So I think that Laura Ingraham is probably not as bad as we think. I hope. I mean,
you hope.
Does, man, that'd be the end of her for me, man. I don't hardly ever watch it. It's too late for me anyway. But
no, I don't watch her show. It's on too late for me. Sometimes I'll catch it on the weekends. When I'm up early, I'll catch it on the weekends sometimes, but not. I don't watch her show too much. I've never really been a fan of hers. Even when she was on the radio, I always found her very difficult to listen to. She sounds very hectic. She reminds me of like one of those women that you see driving their kids to school, and the kids are going nuts in the car, and she's doing her hair and makeup while she's driving them to school, and everything's always hectic, and that's just kind of annoying to me. But anyway, hey, Doug, take care. Thanks for the call. Let's take our first break of the second hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back after this.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian. I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires. And when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Oh, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we can save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers at Mike Lindell.
He's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the...
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome.
Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, 18 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. let me get to some of the audio sound bites. By the way, anything I brought up since 6 a.m. is fair game to discuss on the program at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. All right, so Al Sharpton and MSNBC were very upset about the Trump rally. In particular, they don't like the Blacks for Trump people behind President Trump. And this is Al Sharpton talking about the Blacks for Trump that are behind the president in every single rally. Listen to this.
Well, the fact that we all saw them sitting there, clearly they were put there for the optics.
Okay, now before I get to the rest of this, they talk about the Blacks for Trump. The Blacks for Trump, I told this to Al from Coral Springs yesterday. He's brought them up before. This really pisses people off. I've met the main Blacks for Trump guy at Mar-a-Lago. And let me tell you something. That guy is a rock star. He is so famous. Everybody knows him, but I don't know his name, and I met him. I got a picture of him. I'm sure I put it on Instagram. I took a selfie with him. The line of people that line up to take selfies with this guy is amazing. He's a rock star. And he's famous because he has gone to every Trump rally. And he has talked about this. He has been asked, how do you get these seats? He gets there early and he waits and gets the seats. And now that he's famous, everybody knows the Blacks for Trump guy. When he gets there, it's like a celebrity at Studio 54. He gets they do take him back there, not as a prop, but because everyone knows this guy. And if you watch him, he's part of the rallies. And Al Sharpton and this crew of jerks over there on MSNBC, they should have the Blacks for Trump on. You can find them. Their T-shirt has their website address, blacksfortrump2020.com. Right? They're all wearing the shirt. Go to the website, Al Sharpton, send him an email, and you know what? Blacks for Trump will come on MSNBC. All right, let's get back to it.
Well, the fact that we all saw them sitting there, clearly they were put there for the optics. There was one guy that went around the whole 2020 race.
Okay, now the reason that he says they were put there for the optics is because that's what Democrats do. Democrats put people back behind whoever's speaking for the optics. Like I remember when Hillary was running for president, she came to Florida, she gave a speech up in Orlando. You know who was behind her? The father of the Pulse nightclub shooter. Remember that? Was that for optics, Sharpton? Anyway, here's Sharpton talking about Blacks for Trump at the rally.
Well, the fact that we all saw them sitting there, clearly they were put there for the optics. There was one guy that went around the whole 2020 race with a Blacks for Trump sign. It seems like now he's gotten more. And they are put there strategically so that he can say the most racist things and not look racist. Because they all just automatically, I mean, who gets a group of people, Blacks for Trump, and just happens to sit there and they happen to get within camera view? I mean, no one could be that stupid to think that that just happened to be they got the good seats. That is choreographed so he can sell racism and look like he's not a racist. And I think that it is something that we all ought to deplore. I wouldn't waste my time worrying about who he props up. I would waste my time telling people, I would spend my time telling people, whites, that he says that you're being discriminated against. This is the same man, when he was president, that denied it was a pandemic until it had broke out all over the country. And then he told Bleach, if there was anyone that hurt whites and blacks with the pandemic, it's Donald Trump.
Okay, first off, none of that's true. If you go to his State of the Union in that January, before anybody was talking about a pandemic, the State of the Union, where Nancy, remember, you see her back there stacking the papers up because she knew how many papers she could tear and how many she couldn't, so she was setting it. The one where she tore up the State of the Union and threw it up in the air like a lunatic, he was talking about COVID there and how he was shutting down travel from China, okay? And he didn't tell anyone to put bleach, give me a break. Oh man, the Blacks for Trump, they've got MSNBC in a panic. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Hey, Wisconsin Gary, what's up?
You know, it was on RSBN. They interviewed him on there.
Blacks for Trump?
So, I mean, yeah, the Blacks for Trump guy. I mean, they actually interviewed him, and I mean, it's like he's got a really impressive resume, you might as well say, for going to all the rallies and getting involved with a lot of the other things.
This is me with Blacks for Trump.
You know, but
at
this is where Sharpton just don't get it, and he should just stay out of it because, I mean, look at him when he was down, I think it was in Texas, he got booed out of there, and people didn't want him there. I don't know why Sharpton sticks his nose into something that he knows he's just going to not win, but, I mean, it's more or less, I think, trying to get the access, you know, to put his message out there, and it just ended up going to be backfiring. But this guy for Trump, I mean, it's like he mentioned what all the great accomplishment Donald Trump has done. I mean, no other president in U.S. history extended the black colleges and the funding for them for years to come, when every other president before him, they would do.
Well, when Al Sharpton, he's the one who understands black people, right? He wears suits that cost more than cars I've owned, and he flies around on a private jet. But Blacks for Trump, they're out of touch with black people. Al Sharpton on his private jets, he's down with the hood. You know, the problem Al Sharpton has with Blacks for Trump is they are a clear and present danger to his power. When, you know, he is like an overseer at the slave plantation that snitches to the master when a slave escapes. You know, that's it. I mean, you know, that's what it's about. He's, you know, these are escaped slaves in his mind from the Democrat plantation, and he's telling his Democrat masters on MSNBC, Blacks for Trump have escaped the Democrat plantation. We got to get them back here.
You know, it's funny, Brian, because out here on the road, I mean, I see blacks all over the place, other than just white or Hispanic or Asian drivers out here. They're all for Trump. You know, and this is even the black community out here. I mean, they're even for Trump. So, I mean, obviously Trump did something right that people like him, and that's something that just Al Sharpton just doesn't get.
No, he gets it. He's in a panic. He gets it. He gets it. He's scared. It scares him.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Gary. What were you saying?
Everybody in the Democratic Party is scared because they ain't going to have a job here in 22, 24, and hopefully into the future after that.
That's right. Hey, Gary, thanks for the call. Some good points as always. And, you know, he talks about Asians. If you ever go to a Trump event, you see NTD News. They're on YouTube. You may have heard of them. NTD News was founded by Chinese dissidents in this country who fled China after Tiananmen Square. They're always out there, very pro-Trump. You see at any Trump event you go to, you see people holding signs, Asians, Vietnamese for Trump. Asians holding signs, Chinese Americans for Trump. You see that he's got a strong support among Asians. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's the number. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Hey, Fort Lauderdale. What's up?
I want to know that new song that Trump's playing out, Hold On, I'm Coming.
Yes.
That's, you know what I'm saying? That's from all the jails.
That's what?
That's from the jails, all the South Florida jails.
It's from the jails?
Oh, yeah, next week he's going to be indicted. Going to take his passport.
Who's going to be indicted? Who? Who's getting indicted? Who?
You ever hear a thing called RICO?
Who's getting indicted? Who is getting indicted?
Trump.
Trump. Oh, Trump. For what? Oh, my goodness. He's our candidate. Why is President Trump being indicted? For what?
He's going to be indicted on RICO charges.
RICO? What's Rico and the Man? I remember that show on TV. RICO. Who's Rico?
Yeah. He's not telling anybody.
Wait a minute. He's getting indicted. Is Rico a Mexican immigrant?
All those people that contribute.
Who is Rico? Who's Rico?
RICO, buddy. Racketeering charges.
Racketeering? What?
You know, criminal tax evasion.
Oh, this is interesting. President Trump has committed tax evasion? Please tell us what he did. Tell us what he did.
He committed all his phony corporations.
Wait a minute. This is very interesting. Wait a minute. We have someone on the line from Latita James's office, I think, in New York. What crime did Trump commit that he's going to be indicted for next week?
Hold on, I'm coming, buddy. That's what they're singing in the jails. Maybe you'll be able to get...
They're singing... What are they singing in the jails? That Trump's coming? How do you know what goes on in the jails?
I know what's going on in the jails, but that's their theme song. They can't wait to get...
Okay, so what crime, specifically, what crime did Trump commit?
Let me ask you a question, hopefully...
No, don't ask me a question. Answer a question. What crime... Tell me the details of the crime Trump committed.
He increased the value of his properties to get loans.
Oh, what? Okay. What? Okay. What property? Okay, tell me what property President Trump committed fraud on, increasing the value of it.
He's been a crook his whole life, and now he got caught.
Well, no. What building did he illegally inflate the value of?
All the properties.
All the properties.
The properties I tried to get loans. That's right.
Okay, now let me. I'm gonna do something that probably doesn't happen very often with you. I'm gonna treat you like a normal human being. Do you live in a house or? Excuse me. Do you live in a house or a condo?
It doesn't make a difference.
No, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. Do you live in a house or a condo?
Going to jail. He's going to jail.
Okay, all right. Trump's going to jail. Do you live in a house or a All right, goodbye. Okay, can't talk to the guy. This is the deal, okay? And I'll use myself. I live in a house, okay? They're saying that Trump is inflating the values of things for loans. None of that's true, but I want you to run this by you here, okay? My house is worth what it's worth, okay? The house next door to mine is an exact copy of mine in every detail, inside and out, right? My house is my house, Brian Craig's house. Donald Trump buys the house next door, a complete carbon copy of mine in every detail. And then he puts a sign on it that says, Trump. Which house is worth more money? My house or the one next door? Complete carbon copies. Mine says Brian Craig house. The next door says Trump. Pretty simple question. The house that has Trump written on it, even if it's hand-painted, is worth a lot more because he's a brand. I saw a guy on YouTube. You can find this on YouTube, I'm sure. This guy had this piano. This was, junk piano, and it was out on the curb, and he was waiting for the garbage man to take the piano to the dump. Billy Joel, Piano Man, Uptown Girl, You're Only Human. You know him. Billy Joel, coincidentally, during this setup incident on YouTube, walks by, sees the piano, sits down, and Billy Joel starts playing the piano. All of a sudden, that piano that was junk, that was worth nothing, that the guy couldn't give away, is now worth a lot of money because Billy Joel played on the piano and he has photographic and video proof of it. When someone's a celebrity like Trump, something is worth more money because they own it. So if you have two skyscrapers in New York, completely identical, right? And one is just a generic skyscraper owned by who knows who. The other one's the same skyscraper, carbon copy, but it says Trump Tower on it. The Trump Tower one's worth more, even if everything inside is identical, because it's owned by Trump. That's right. Okay, 32 minutes after the hour. Those of you on hold, stand by. We're going to break and be back right after this.
We're entering the third year of
Steve Kane Show.
It hit the country hard. Hit the country hard for a lot of
Hey,
reasons.
hold on.
But one of the reasons that we were hit the hardest is we weren't prepared when it came to PPE because everything was manufactured in China. On the line, we have former Congressman David Emery. He's now CEO of Strategic Manufacturers, a subsidiary of SBG. He wants to bring PPE manufacturing back here to the United States. David Emery, what's the big deal about nitro gloves and PPE?
Well, you said it in the introduction. We weren't prepared. Well over 90% of the gloves that we use are manufactured overseas. We were gouged. So your average physician, nurse, emergency worker simply couldn't get the gloves to keep their
you going to bring production of PPE to the United States?
Well, the reason we can't is because we haven't. We gave it up. It was a policy for 3 or 4 decades that we build all the
Steve Kane Show.
all the average stuff we import. And now
Well
we're
then.
paying the price for it. We certainly can build things here. We have the skills, but we have to have the willpower to do so. And that is the central focus of SMI. Bring manufacturing back to the United States. Through our analysis and our due diligence, we believe that this is not only profitable, but will lead the way for other companies.
Yeah, I told you. If you guys didn't see, this is me at Mar-a-Lago with the Blacks for Trump guy. Yeah, I'll show you guys. Pretty good picture, isn't it? He's a happy guy.
Who want to participate, who want to help make us independent when it comes to PPE. How can they participate?
That's a great picture. Oh, here's me with Mike Nificent from Right Side Broadcasting. And see the other guy from Right Side giving me the 2 fingers? The rabbit ears behind Mike Nificent? Oh, here's me with Lara Logan. This is also Mar-a-Lago.
To learn more about strategic manufacturers or to get information on becoming an investor, call 919-654-6870. 919-654.
Here's me with a dad and his son who listen to the show. The kid's got his Trumpy bear. See that? Pretty funny. All right, 35 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve from Boca, Brian.
Hey, Steve. How are you? I'm great.
Good. All right, you have a caller from Coral Springs. I think his name is Al. I'm not sure.
Yes, Al from Coral Springs. Yes.
Yeah, I know he's a black guy from Coral Springs. I'm a white guy. I just would like to ask this fellow from Coral Springs what he thinks of Herschel Walker, Vernon Jones, Winston Sears. These are 3 wonderful black people that I admire, respect, love, and you think about an Al Sharpton, you think about this fellow, and you wonder what's in their head. I'll tell you, I think about it, I think what it comes down to is these are liberals. We are conservative. We believe in tradition. They don't. And if they're honest with themselves, I think they would admit that's really what the issues are. Their values are not traditional values. They believe in abortion. They believe in killing babies.
Well, what they are, they none of them have read Uncle Tom's Cabin, but they call people like Winston Sears Uncle Toms. And if you've ever read Uncle Tom's Cabin, you find out that Uncle Tom is the hero in that book. But what they are is what I told the last caller. They're like the slave that tells master when the other slaves escape. You know what I mean? And when they see Winsome Sears, I only have one thing I don't like about Winsome Sears, that she was not born a U.S. citizen, because she cannot run for vice president with Donald Trump, or because she's spectacular, but she's not a natural born U.S. citizen, and she puts Al Sharpton and the rest in a complete state of panic, because she very well will be the next governor or senator from Virginia.
Great idea, and I really thought about this, but nobody would ever do it. I'm an old timer, and back in the '60s, there was a GE show where four college students would debate another college. I think it would be wonderful if there was a television program where you had 4 liberals, 4 conservatives. It would go on for 2 hours. A moderator would moderate it. Each side would have a chance to speak. I just think it would be a wonderful thing.
Well, you can't do that anymore. Listen, talk radio's changed a lot. I talk to people about this sometimes that have been in talk radio for a while, or sometimes I know people that have been out of it for a long time and then they get back into it. Talk radio used to be that way. We've always taken calls from Democrats on this program, and we used to have debates with them. But now you see how they are. They can't talk to you. They don't answer questions. They're not Democrats. They can't debate because they'll lose every time, even against somebody who's half brain dead, who's a conservative. Will beat them every time. So they don't debate any longer.
You're so right. I thank you for the time.
Well, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brad, Punta Gorda, Florida.
Where? What's your name? And from where?
Brad, Punta Gorda, Florida.
Glad from Punta Gorda, Florida. All right.
Brad,
from Punta Gorda, Florida. Okay, what's up, Brad?
I disagree with everything. Right when I hopped on the show today, I heard you talking about the 5 and Lara Ingraham, and it's just crazy the way everything is out there.
What do you disagree with, Brad?
Pretty much every single aspect of the mainstream media not supporting Trump the way that they should.
Well, I wasn't talking about the 5, but Lara Ingraham gave an interview over the weekend, and she said she might not vote for Trump in 2024, which means she's not going to vote for Trump in 2024.
Right, I saw her on the 5 last night.
Oh.
She wasn't coming across like that, which is why I posed some questions to her.
Mm-hmm.
But, just, I don't even know. Great respect to you, Steve. Love this show.
Oh, no, your calls are fine. Don't plan out calls. Those are the worst calls. You don't want to plan anything out. This show is raw and unfiltered and completely unplanned, unlike the Glenn Beck Show, which seems to me to be totally scripted. All right, so some more sound bites I have here. MSNBC in a panic. This is Steve Schmidt on MSNBC yesterday, and they're responding to the Trump rally and Trump supporters who they were. This really set them off because there were over 50,000 people in attendance at the Trump rally Saturday night, and thousands were turned away. So Steve Schmidt is talking about what Trump supporters must be prepared for if they're going to continue to go down the road in supporting Trump.
To execute political opponents.
Oh wait, wait a minute. I didn't play the beginning. I had it muted. Here we go. Steve Schmidt, what Trump supporters must be prepared for if we're going to continue to go down the road and support President Trump.
They prepared to execute political opponents when you look at the totality of the rhetoric, the intimations of violence. So what is this that we're looking at? And what I think it is a very dangerous extremist movement that has come to life.
He's talking about MAGA here, keep in mind, okay?
That we're looking at. And what I think it is a very dangerous extremist movement that has come to life, that can have its roots connected to the Bund in Madison Square Garden in 1938.
Okay, now for those that don't know, he's comparing the Trump rally, the Bund at Madison Square Garden. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. In 1938, the American Nazis had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden in New York City. And and it was a big deal, and they had a big picture of George Washington up there. So he's comparing, and was New York Democrat back then? I think it was. If those were New Yorkers, those Nazis that were there, I would imagine they were Democrats, right? But, but anyway, he's comparing the Trump rally to the Nazi rally in Democrat-run New York City, Madison Square Garden, 1938.
Extremist movement that has come to life, that can have its roots connected to the Bund in Madison Square Garden in 1938, but it is hostile to democracy. It is hostile to the idea and the visions of brotherhood that Martin Luther King talked about, the idea that King himself talked about when he came to the Lincoln Memorial, which wasn't to tear down an unjust society, it was to collect, in his words, a promissory note.
Okay, now what Steve Schmidt leaves out on Martin Luther King Day about Martin Luther King, who was Martin Luther King fighting against? Of course, everyone on MSNBC, there's not an agreement. This didn't come up. Who was Martin Luther King fighting against? Pretty simple. You guys know. You listen to this show. You're the most educated, most well-informed audience out there. He was fighting against Democrats. That's who he was fighting against. And I'll tell you this. You know, remember last year when Joe Biden said that George Floyd was more impactful globally than Martin Luther King? Remember that? He left that out yesterday, Biden. The reason he said that about George Floyd is because Martin Luther King was a problem for Joe Biden. Remember, he was endorsed by his friend, right? All these racist Klansmen and everything. So, when Martin Luther King died in 1968, when he was shot, Joe Biden wasn't upset by that. That was an obstacle in the way of him and all of his friends. George Wallace, who endorsed him, and all the others. That's why he said that. But no, Martin Luther King was fighting against the Democrat Jim Crow segregation laws. The Republicans were on his side. The Democrats were not. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling...
Beloved Foot Soldier, $2 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Beloved Foot Soldier.
Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management went to any lab test now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested, and it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously, so we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies.
The Strom Thurmond, I'm sorry, George Wallace endorsed Joe Biden, endorsed him.
Recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any lab test now of Boca Raton.
There you go. Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending any lab test now of Boca.
You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. It's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
When the pandemic hit America, our nation was caught off guard and unprepared. One of the biggest problems was we didn't have enough PPE because everything was made in China. There is a solution to this problem. Small Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam gloves and associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way, supply chain issues will never be a problem again. This project is U.S. funded, owned, and managed. Best of all, it's without reliance on the foreign supply chain. Investing in this critical infrastructure is important to the safety and defense of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919 area code 654-6870. Learn more about this incredible opportunity. 919-654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. It's 11 minutes before 8. Steve Kane will be joining us in the next hour. As you heard yesterday, back totally COVID-free and sounds great. And people have been asking me, so I'm going to answer this. He doesn't want me talking about his COVID too much, but I'll just mention it here. No, Steve did not get the booster yet. Okay, did not get the booster. I don't know what his plans are for that, but people keep asking me that constantly. Which I don't know why they keep asking me. Maybe they're thinking about getting it, or maybe I don't know. But no, he did not get the booster when he had the COVID. All right, our number 1-888 go Kane 1. That's the number. Let me get back to some of our audio sound bites. Tiffany Cross, she's on the weekend. She replaced Joy Reid on the weekends, and believe it or not, Tiffany Cross, she's at least equal to being as racist as Joy Reid. And, the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict really triggered Tiffany Cross. She called Kyle Rittenhouse the little racist white supremacist. Everyone's a white supremacist to Tiffany Cross. And now we have the left doing something they've never done before, and it's beautiful. They're attacking fellow Democrats, which we always love. So Manchin and Sinema have stood up against the Build Back Better con, and Tiffany Cross gave some analysis of why Sinema, why Manchin are opposed to this Build Back Better stuff. Listen.
You know, this is an interesting challenge, Angela, because, look, Sinema is a Democrat, but she is in many ways upholding white supremacy. You and I both know what the filibuster was originally used for. Take a listen to some remarks that she made this week, and then we'll talk about it.
When one party need only negotiate with itself, policy will inextricably be pushed from the middle towards the extremes. And I understand there's some on both sides of the aisle that prefer that outcome, but I do not.
I don't think I can roll my eyes hard enough, and you kind of just want to say, girl, bye. But Angela, I'll let you take it. What's your thoughts on the senator's position?
You know, it's rooted in falsehoods, right? Like, we're talking about voting rights. We're not talking even about abortion, which we all know has been historically divisive in this country. What we also know is that voting rights has been supported on a bipartisan level in both chambers of Congress since 1965, when a Democrat signed the bill into law. So what I would tell Senator Sinema is to please reflect on your history. Not a wobbly voice, not an emotional plea for people to remove or to not remove the filibuster when you just could cross that hurdle, right? I'm talking about this year, they could cross that hurdle. So why can't you do that when it comes time to protect voting rights? The other, serious mistake that senators are making right now is deciding that this is somehow a black civil rights bill. It is not. This is a bill to ensure that this country continues to move down the road towards democracy. I agree with Jesse Jackson Jr., who recently said...
Jesse Jackson Jr., didn't he go to jail? I haven't heard that name in a while. Jesse, okay, now I played this for a particular reason. Because you keep hearing people talk about voting rights and upholding voting rights. I'm going to throw this call out on the radio right now to any black person or non-white person who has been denied the right to vote, who is legally eligible to vote in the United States. Call me on the air. Tell me your tale, all right? I didn't say story, tale, because it's a fantasy is what it is. It's a fairy tale is what it is. They keep talking about this bill, hold up voter rights, right? Support voting rights. And nobody ever says, well, what rights are you talking about? Here is what they are talking about, okay? The southern states, when they were all Democrat, had these racist Democrats like Joe Biden who set up all these things to make it difficult for blacks to vote. Why? And there was a reason why they didn't want blacks voting. You know why that is? It's not because they were black. It's because they were voting Republican. Remember, all the blacks that walked across the bridge in Selma walked across the bridge to vote Republican, and everyone who bashed a head in Selma was a Democrat, okay? And the Democrats came up with all these things you hear about all the time, how many jelly beans and stuff like this in the jar, So what happened with the civil rights legislation, the Voting Rights Act, is the federal government, in particular the Justice Department, would have to approve any changes that those states made when it came to elections, which could be simply redistricting, right? Every 10 years there's a census, and after that, every state redistricts. And state redistricting would have to get approved by a special civil rights division at the Justice Department. Well, that's expired. First of all, it was over half a century ago when these problems existed. Second, the racist Democrats no longer control these states. The abolitionist party that was formed to abolish slavery, the Republicans now control them. They want to continue these old voting rights restrictions because the Democrats will use it to screw the Republicans. I mean, that's what they're doing here. So when they talk about voting rights, that is specifically what they're talking about. None of them get into this. Even on the conservative shows, I don't think a lot of them know this stuff. Not that I'm smarter or more informed than a lot of these people, but I do think a lot of these pundits that are out there talking don't know any of the things I'm sharing with you right now. But that is what they're talking about when they're talking about supporting voter rights. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number, toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Janet.
Oh, hey, Janet. I lost track of time already. Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural in the Festival Marketplace with the Morning Health Report. Janet Cimarelli, how you doing?
I am doing very well. I'm staying warm, and so I'm thinking about some people, when the weather changes dramatically like this, their joints hurt. They are dealing with stiff joints, and they're so uncomfortable. And in addition to the joints losing their flexibility, there's pain. And so if you can get yourself together, come on into AJ's and I'll show you the array of different things that we have, all natural, that are going to relieve the pain, reduce the inflammation, enhance the flexibility, and if that joint pain is hobbling you to the extent or you're really concerned about going out in our Florida
Thank
winter,
you, Beverly.
Come on and give us a call, 954-317-1851, and we can send you. You described a little bit of the issues that you're dealing with, and if it's joint pain, flexibility, inflammation, swelling, all of that, something that's keeping you from doing what you want to be doing, just give us a call and we can send out to you the array of different things that we have to relieve your pain. We have Wiley's Peak Omega. Their Peak Omega, very, very high in EPA. That's the omega-3 that's going to reduce inflammation and enhance flexibility of your joints. And we have Rheuma Art. Rheuma Art is It looks like a salad when you look at the ingredients, but oh my goodness, what an incredibly effective pain reliever. So many different choices to get you out of that realm of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory things that you're going to find in the grocery store and in the pharmacy, the drugstore. The thing is, those have potential side effects. So some people are using aspirin. Aspirin can cause bleeding.
That's right.
For a long time. Some of the other non-steroidal anti-inflammatories can cause liver damage. And so many people don't understand the risks that they're taking when they're using those things on a regular.
In fact, I'll tell you, Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace introduced Steve Kane and myself to natural alternatives, vitamins, people call them. Steve and I call them nutraceuticals back in 1998 before anyone else. A lot of people think Barry from Barry's Vitamins did, and Barry passed away. Barry's Vitamins is no more, and he was a friend of ours, but it was actually Janet Cimarelli that introduced us to this. And what got me into natural alternatives was very particularly cholesterol medication. I was taking a prescription statin for cholesterol reduction, and like every few months I'd have to go in and get a liver scan, like telling me they got to make sure it's not damaging my liver. And I found you have all natural products to reduce cholesterol. It's not going to damage my liver, and there's no side effects, and it does the same thing that my prescription medication does. And to me, this is just my experience. I'm not telling you guys what to do, but I find natural alternatives to be the best. And I use them. AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace in Pompano, very easy to find. The festival is immediately east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road. AJ's inside. Just go in towards the food court. Right before the food court, look to the west. When you see the information booth, that's where AJ's is. And of course, they ship anywhere, out of town, out of state, even locally. If you don't drive. A lot of you don't drive, or you can't drive as far as the festival may be for you. They will ship anywhere, even locally, when you call 954-317-1851, 954-317-1851. And don't forget, it's Tuesday, and every Tuesday and Friday at 10 a.m. on all of our radio stations, you can catch Janet Cimarelli at 10 a.m. on the radio. All right, Janet, have a great day, and we will talk tomorrow.
We will.
All right, take care. 2 hours down, 1 to go. Steve Kane will be joining us in the next hour. Those of you on hold, stand by. Back to your calls after this.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great
Steve Kane Show. Yes, hold on.
Sections of roof repaired, and upon initial inspection, they were honest and told me that my roof was good and I didn't need a new one. I called many roofers, and they were all scammers. They all wanted to put on a new roof, and they said they wouldn't repair what I had. Thanks, Brian. Another fantastic sponsor.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial from John in Wellington. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting will never sell you a roof that you don't need. Give him a call for a no-charge inspection of your roof. 954-604-4602. That number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All righty. The third hour has begun. 3 minutes after the hour, Steve Kane will be joining us after our next break. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. All right, now, I'm going to take a call or two before I bring up some new stuff. So let me jump to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
So I'm doing wonderful. So I'm a Latina, and I'm a big supporter for Trump. I'm hoping he runs, and I know he's going to run.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, Brian, that bugs me about Trump, and I think it will hurt him, even though we all agree that there was fraud.
Well, this is what Corey Lewandowski wrote a book. By the way, thanks for your call. And the book was titled, remember this? Corey Lewandowski's book? Let Trump Be Trump. Let Trump be Trump. And that's a good rule of thumb with Trump. Let Trump do what it is he's doing. He knows. Listen, I think he knows what's best. Let me bring up a couple things, though. I just don't have time for the, I like Trump, but. This is a huge story. Huge story. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. This is amazing. The majority of Americans now identify as Republican. A newly released Gallup survey found that over the course of 2021, the Democrats fell from a 9 percentage point advantage in the first quarter to Republicans having a 5-point edge in the fourth quarter, so far as the number of Americans identifying as Republican. That means Republicans, people identifying as Republicans, right? Republicans have gained 14 points. 14 points. That's amazing. The GOP has held as much as a 5-point advantage in total in only 4 quarters since 1991. The Republicans last held an advantage like this in early 1995 when Bill Clinton was president. And that was after the Newt Gingrich contract for America and winning the House and the Senate for the first time since the 50s. And that was a long time ago now. So Republicans have gained 14 points, and those are Americans identifying as Republicans. And it's because of what Biden has been putting us through. So Paul Begaglia, remember he used to work for Bill Clinton? Haven't heard from him in a while. And he came out on CNN and defending Biden, and these corrupt Democrats came out of the closet to defend to attack the Republican. Let me do all that over. Paul Begaglia, Democrat, worked for Bill Clinton, came out of the closet to defend Biden and the Democrat leaders and attack the Democrat voters in doing it. Listen.
I think the problem for the Democrats right now is not
Steve
that
Kane
they
Show.
have bad leaders. They have bad followers. Okay, I
Hold on.
read the most amazing essay today from Andy Young. Andy was former mayor of Atlanta, former UN ambassador, and more importantly, probably the closest confidant and aide to Dr. King. He told this story. December of 1964, Andy Young and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. go to see Lyndon Johnson to push him for a Voting Rights Act. Johnson says, I can't do it. I used all my power to get the Civil Rights Act done last year. I don't have the power to push Congress any further on voting rights. As they left the White House, Andy Young's words, he said, I asked Dr. King what he thought. He said, I think we got to go get the president some power. And so you know what they did? They organized, these are Andy Young's words, we mobilized the churches, the universities, the labor unions, the business community, a coalition of people of goodwill. In other words, those of us who want to say voting rights, we need to get to work. I do think Biden is putting everything behind this, but he needs better followers. So he needs all of us.
He needs better followers. So you Democrats out there, you're bad followers, and he needs better followers. You know, this is so typical of Democrats. It's just like their fake news Democrat media, right? They're not doing anything wrong. It's you that have the problem. The millions and millions of people out there, you're the problem, not Biden, not Pelosi. You know, well, let me take some more calls. 1-888-GO-CANE-1, that's the number. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Oh, man, I love it. It's. I don't think many of you appreciate how unusual it is for Democrats to attack one another, right? We got a lot of Democrats on television attacking Biden because they want Hillary in. We have Paul Begala on CNN attacking the Democrat voters. Democrats, President Trump talked about this a lot. You say what you want to say about the Democrats, but they never attack one another. That's all they're doing now. They're doing more infighting among Democrats, right? They got MSNBC calling Sinema and Manchin Democrat senators white supremacists. You know, it never ends. There's a never-ending pool of Democrats attacking Democrats. It's wonderful. This is very unusual. We've never experienced this, I don't think, before. Not like this. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Al from Coral Springs.
Uh-huh.
Listen, there are a lot of people scared right now of what's going on with the discovery of these Republican electorates.
No. You know, this is the thing, Al. This is the thing, Al. You get your show, you can talk about whatever you want. And I have told you time and time again, this is not a place for you to call in and list your things, okay? And I will say this, though. It's a very interesting thing because I talk a lot about the fake MAGA that are calling. The fake MAGA person that called a few minutes ago was saying the same thing that Liberal Al from Coral Springs was saying about Trump. Did any of you notice that? That is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all, actually. Hey, the fake MAGA. You got to watch out for them. Anyone, you know, this has always been this way, okay? It's always been this way with Democrat callers to radio shows when you're in an election year. They amp it up during the election year. And it doesn't matter who the Republican is, okay? I'll take Trump out of it because, you know, you're hearing that now so you can understand it. But I can remember when G.W. Bush, for example, was running for re-election. Every other caller was a lifelong conservative, and they would tell you this. I've been a conservative my whole life. When I was in the 5th grade, I was standing up for Ronald Reagan. I was with kindergartners for Reagan and all this stuff, and my family are Republicans, and my daddy was in World War II, right out of the song, right? And I voted for Bush the first time, but I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. Lifetime Republican, but I can't do it. And you can take any Republican who's the front runner, and it's always the same thing, except for John McCain, because, you know, he was one of them. You go back to Bush 41, same story. You go back to Mitt Romney, been a Republican my whole life, but I'm voting Democrat for the first time because of this. Now they're all MAGA. They all voted for Trump. I voted for Trump twice, but I can't do it again, because I love Trump, but that's all fake. And every election, it's been this way. There's never been an election where this was not the case when you get caller after caller. The worst case of it, this goes way back to the Bush John Kerry race, Air America Radio. It wasn't on very long, remember? Al Franken, Randy Rhodes, bunch of other liberal loons. I forgot who. Janine Garofalo, whatever happened to her. And you would listen to Air America Radio, which was supposed to be the liberal alternative to Rush. It was going to bring down Rush. How'd that go, huh? And every caller almost to that show, in particular Randy Rhoads' show, was, Al Franken, Randy Rhoads, I've been a Republican my whole life. My parents voted Republican, I voted Republican, but not this time. I'm voting for John Kerry. I cannot vote because of George. They're doing the same thing now with Trump. And that's not even logical. That doesn't even make sense, because even if you don't like someone personally, you're not going to vote for someone who's the polar opposite. We used to hear this in 2016 for Hillary. If you're a Republican who supports Trump and always did, and now you're going to go Democrat, so really, so you're for tax and spending? You're for abortion rights all of a sudden, and abortion on demand, and you can make a long list. It makes no sense. There is no way that you can go from being that to being MAGA to voting Democrat. It makes no sense whatsoever. All right, listen, we're going to take our first break of the last hour. Steve Kane will be joining us back with your calls as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. Back to your calls after this. Don't go anywhere.
Steve Kane Radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair.
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Juan. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up, no pain, I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And this is an incredible deal because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free MyPillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You with us, Steve? Oh, man. Lots of craziness going on, I'll tell you that. You know, I threw this out and no one's given me an answer to it. I saw Michael Savage last night on Newsmax TV, and he was talking about this rabbi out in Texas. And he said something that the reporter didn't really want to get into. The guy didn't know about it and didn't follow up, but he dropped something about that rabbi, Michael Savage, that I thought was pretty shocking, and it might give us a little piece to the puzzle that we're not getting about how it happened. Okay, Now, here, are you with me, Steve? Okay, I thought I lost you. Now, when I hear, here in Florida, I mean, you just walk down the street and every few buildings, it's not hard to find Jews in South Florida, right? It's not hard to find synagogues, Jewish temples. You can find them all over because we have a large Jewish population. Texas, though, I could be wrong about this, but does Texas have a large Jewish population? Are Jewish temples, synagogues, are they rare in Texas? For some reason, I tend to think they are, right? It seems, I don't know. I mean, I know there's Jews in Texas. I know that, but there aren't that. Finding a synagogue here in Boca is not that difficult, or even in Cooper City where you live, pretty easy to find. But in Texas, it just seems that they're a little more spread out, probably. But what Michael Savage said about, and this, and I'm not taking away from the heroism of the rabbi. Okay, the rabbi saw an opportunity. He grabbed a chair. He hit the terrorist with the chair, and they escaped. Right. So so he's a hero. I'm not taking that away from him. But this is what I want to throw out. If any of you have heard this, now the rabbi is a liberal. I have heard that. He's a Reformed rabbi, so that makes sense. But what Michael Savage said, that I've not been able to confirm, but Michael Savage is a credible person. He said this rabbi is an anti-Zionist rabbi, which is extreme.
Conservative.
No. It means the opposite. No. It means he's extreme. No. It means he's extreme liberal and anti. Now, if I'll throw this out to the callers, because anti-Zionism is not unheard of among Jews. If you're an anti-Zionist, that means you don't support Israel. That means you don't support Israel being the Jewish state. That means you're on the side of the Palestinians, the Muslims, against Israel. You don't believe there should be a Jewish country, right?
You're overthinking.
Well, Jews against Zionism, isn't that what an anti-Zionist is? They don't...
Jew.
No. It's more extreme than a liberal Jew. Most Jews are liberal. Most, right? But even liberals are not an anti-Zionist. Let me throw this out to you guys in the audience. Explain this to us, because I think this is an important point to this story. And I heard Michael Savage say this. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. If you are I'm going to Google anti-Zionist to get the official definition. But my understanding was if you're against Zionism, you're against the Jewish state existing as the Jewish state. And if what Michael Savage said is true, that the hero rabbi is an anti-Zionist, what Michael Savage was saying is, he says something stinks here, that there's more to this story than meets the eye. He doesn't think it's a coincidence that this terrorist made his way into this synagogue.
That was obvious from the beginning. In fact, we had a couple of conversations about this.
Yeah, but this is new. And what Savage is implying by that is that he went there for help. That he being an anti-Zionist, that he thought he would find support there is what. Now,
Too much into it.
I don't know. I don't know. And I looked up anti-Zionism, just to get the official definition, because, this is online. Anti-Zionism is defined in the modern era as opposition to the state of Israel. So, well, if you, there cannot, I promise you, we have more synagogues per capita in South Florida than in Texas, right? There's just no way, So it seems if what Savage said is true, that the guy does not support Israel, the rabbi, it may not be a coincidence that he ended up at that synagogue. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what Savage was implying last night. And that may be why the FBI said they weren't sure of the motivation of the guy when he went there. That might be where the confusion came from. I don't know.
You remember the conversation we had yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the Fort Hood
shooting.
Yeah, Nadal Hassan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the FBI is just bends over backwards not to offend Muslims. And when the Fort Hood shooting occurred, the FBI initially, in the early news releases, announced that it was a workplace shooting.
Workplace violence. Yeah.
Workplace violence. I mean, that's the point, that the FBI is covering for the. To put it in the simplest terms, the FBI is being politically correct.
Well, in Fort Hood. Yeah.
Our Muslim brother.
In Fort Hood, they said it was. In fact, they didn't just say it was workplace violence. It was officially listed in the government records as an incident of workplace violence. And the reason they did that, technically it's accurate because he was a spy in the Army and he worked at the fort. So technically that's accurate. But the reason they did that was to cook the books. If they call it workplace violence, there was no terrorist incident on a U.S. military base in the United States. That's like how they were cooking the crime stats in Parkland before the shooting over there. And by that definition, every soldier in combat for the United States in Afghanistan or Iraq, that those are all workplace violence incidents too, because that's where they work, right? Fighting the war in Iraq or Afghanistan or Vietnam or Normandy. It's it's bizarre. No, not at all. No, I thought what Michael Savage is suggesting is that this rabbi is an extreme, radical, anti-Zionist, and there was some possible connection between him and this lunatic terrorist and his movement. I don't know. I'm just telling you what Michael Savage was saying last night on Newsmax. I thought it was a interesting addition to the story that we've been trying to piece together. I don't know. But your thoughts on this? I'll give out our number, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're at. Now, I started the show talking about this. I wanted to run this by you because this really shocked me. Lara Ingraham gave an interview over the weekend, and in the interview, she said she might not vote for Trump in 2024. And I was pretty shocked by that. In fact, the article is titled, "Lara Ingraham might not vote for Trump if he runs." And she said, "I'm not saying I'm there for him yet," Lara Ingraham said. "I'm not saying I'm there for him yet, and I may not vote for him." So that's, what do you think that's about, Steve? Why would Lara Ingraham say that she might not vote for Trump?
A certain level of neutrality.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, that's what I see.
You're worse than Richie when he called in to defend her.
You know, you end up attacking all of or a lot of.
Not all of them.
Supporters.
I don't know if she's a Trump supporter.
I think she is. I mean, I think she's just kind of playing devil's advocate there.
Oh, no. That was an interview. It was in an interview she gave. It wasn't on her show. She gave an interview, and she said this. And Fox News did not carry the rally. They had no follow-up coverage, really, the next day or yesterday about the rally. Fox News has decided to have a total blackout on everything Trump, it seems to me. And she works for Fox News, and that's what she's doing it.
I will say that they undercovered the Trump speech.
That by not they didn't cover it, and the next day they didn't even talk about it. And yesterday he wasn't mentioned, And that's the tone at Fox News. She's doing that because she has to maintain her job.
There's a whole nother tone at Fox
Steve Kane
News
Show
that is way pro-Trump. Now, I'm a daytime watcher. I watch during the day,
yeah.
They're very, very pro-Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Great in-depth arguments, which make you realize how ridiculous Biden is, and how ridiculous those people opposing Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And you listen, if you can't count on your friends, I mean, if you're going to go attacking your friends,
Well, my friends don't go around saying I may not vote for Trump. My friends say I'm supporting Trump. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you're taking... Oh, listen. Well...
I like Lara Logan.
Yeah.
And I think she talks good, basic, common sense.
Like not being sure if she's going to vote for Trump? That doesn't sound like common sense to me.
I think you're overestimating the significance of the rule.
I don't know. She hasn't commented on it. Well, listen. It's time to check in with your attorney. Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Hey, Barry, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, there's so many misconceptions when it comes to planning our estate. One of them is that if we have a will or a trust, or even if we have beneficiary designations on our accounts, like bank accounts and so on, that those assets, even if it says everything goes to my son or daughter, and then if they're not around, to their kids, your grandkids, that doesn't necessarily work that way. People think that just because they listed it that way, that that's how it's going to turn out. We've talked on the show before many times about the bloodline planning, and just leaving a beneficiary designation in any of those ways does not make sure that those assets...
Well, call me on the air. I don't want to take... I got callers on hold. I don't want to take any of these callers. They all suck. Call me on the air and tell me what you think about Steve and Lara Ingraham.
That way, anything, let's say, for example,
I've had some callers on hold for half an hour. I'm not taking. They suck.
If that son is married, that prevents it from getting co-mingled, and then that son losing it if you have to get divorced. Right? Going to the widow, if he were to pass, and then she remarries, and now she dies next. Now it goes to some new person, not even in the family, and then ultimately to his or her kids. That's why it's so important to have the bloodline planning. It helps keep the assets in the family bloodline, protects it from creditors and lawsuits, and gives you that divorce protection.
Yeah.
I think that just by naming a beneficiary on their accounts or having a straightforward beneficiary designation in their will or trust that they're going to get this bloodline protection, then they don't. That's one of the things we review when we review.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that everything you leave behind doesn't go to the children of your wife's next husband, bypassing your children and grandchildren, which is something that sadly happens all too often. Okay, and some of these con artist men, they're waiting at the Barry sometimes talks about this in the workshop. They meet mom at the Shiva call, and it's just listen. Give attorney Barry Siegel a call. It's a completely free consultation if you mention you heard him on the radio. His number, toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great day. We'll talk later in the week. Okay, take care. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this break.
COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive,
Steve Kane Show,
near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call
Hold on.
954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You with us, Steve? All right. Well, let's go to the phones. Our number, 888-GO-KANE-1. We've brought up a lot of topics today since 6. They are all fair game. 1-888-465-2631. Well, I didn't say I dislike Lara Ingraham. I'm just pointing out that she said in an interview she's not sure that she's going to vote for Trump.
It's a fan remark. The fact is, Lara Ingraham spends most of her show making Biden look like the fool he is. So, you know, there's different ways to sell things.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
It's making a big issue about Trump, or you can do it by
Trashing Trump?
the greatest tool in talk radio, which is ridicule. And that's what, that's the old story with ridicule. You want to destroy, Biden has been destroyed. He's been destroyed because he's become an object of ridicule. And once you become, it happened with Gore, once you become
Dukakis.
Dukakis with that silly picture of
The tank.
face sitting out of the tank. And once you become a figure of ridicule, you can't reverse that. And that's why Biden's finished.
Yeah, but when Lara Ingraham ridiculing Biden, doesn't mean she's supporting Trump. It's not the same thing. She could be supporting Ted Cruz. You want to take some calls, or?
A lot of calls.
Okay, well, let's take some calls. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Catherine from North Carolina.
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Catherine.
Yeah. Hey, Steve. Glad to see you back. Glad you made it through.
Good to be back.
Listen, I'm kind of with you, Steve. I don't know if there's an actual audio of that, but remember, President Trump hasn't announced yet. She lives in D.C. She's got kids. She lives in that nasty bubble up there. She's got 3 kids that go to school, and I don't know if you've ever been around kids that are of those age and their parents are psychopath liberals. The kids mimic that, so she may be just trying to protect her own family at this point.
I think there's something to be said for that. I think you could be on.
And if there's not audio, remember, fake news wants to tear up or concern.
Well, okay, here's the thing about that, okay? It was a print interview. It was a print interview, so there's no audio of it. But this came out over the weekend, and I didn't catch the 5 yesterday, but I understand she was on the 5 yesterday. She had her show last night, and she hasn't said it's not true.
Well, she may not even have heard it.
Oh, she heard it. She did it. She did the interview. I've heard of it. You don't think she's looked at the article that was written about her that she gave an interview for?
President, you can't. For her up in D.C., in that bubble, in that crazy.
Well, based on that, she can't be doing conservative politics on TV. I mean, come on.
Either own. If
the headline of the headline of the article is Lara Ingraham might not vote for Trump if he runs.
And who wrote it?
Okay, it was a local Virginia publication over the weekend. The Northern Virginia Magazine interviewed her. Well, we don't live in Northern Virginia. All the Washington insiders have because they're in Northern Virginia.
And exactly.
Okay, so you believe? Okay, so what's your position? It's not true, or she's trying to protect her kids?
I don't have a position on it. I just say she's been very good at exposing the border issue.
Yes.
Exposing for the Second Amendment, and I'm just saying sometimes we have to step back and not eat our own.
Mm-hmm.
She has made a major contribution. She has made a major contribution in the area of reducing Biden to a figure of ridicule.
Mm-hmm.
I tune in for her monologue all the time, and it's always a summation of all the stupid, dumb things Biden has said, and that's what's done him in. That's what's made the Trump position strong. Is basically they've made Biden a fool.
Yeah, I mean, if she turns out to be another Bill Kristol, when that happens.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. See, that's what I'm afraid of. She goes way back with the establishment. She worked in the Reagan White House. She worked for Clarence Thomas, so she's part of the Republican establishment.
Well, thanks to Clarence Thomas, the OSHA thing got turned down.
Oh, yeah, no, Clarence Thomas is great, but look, Ted Cruz 2 weeks ago said we're terrorists. Now he's trying to do damage control.
He's never going to be president. Like he said, when he works for us, we need to appreciate that, and when he doesn't, we need to criticize.
Oh no, sometimes never Trumpers will do things that help us. Okay, like for example, Joe Rogan is a Bernie Sanders guy, right? He's not a Trump guy, but Joe Rogan does things and brings up things that help us, but he's not a Trump guy. So what I'm telling you is, I'm not accusing Lara Ingraham of not being a conservative, but the Trump supporters I know say they don't have to question it. They know they're voting for Trump. To say you're not sure, I don't like that.
Well, I don't like it either, but Trump hasn't announced yet. He can't announce yet. And I know when he does announce, I'm voting for him.
But he did everything. He's done everything but say, I am running. I mean, he is, even Lindsey Graham said last week, he's the presumed nominee. And that Mitch McConnell must prove his loyalty to him.
I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Lindsey Graham is also another backstabber, but he's there.
I don't trust him. No, he goes with whichever way the wind blows, and he always needs a strong male in his life to attach himself to, you know. But it tells us which way the wind's blowing in D.C. for Lindsey Graham to say that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't have cable TV, so I don't know.
Really? What do you do for you don't have cable? What do you do for news?
I have internet.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Television.
Yeah.
And talk to people.
Talk to people. Oh, that's good. You're much better without that cable news. Yeah, you're much better without it. There's no getting around that. There's no doubt about it. The cable news is a poison in our society. It really is. It really is. Yeah.
I listen to talk radio. Todd Starnes is great info. You're great info.
Yes.
Info.
Yes.
So, and we've got some good local people here that.
That's right. MAGA strong and MAGA forever.
Are tuning out of the fake news on the TV.
Did you well, you don't have cable, but I'm sure you found a way to watch the Trump rally Saturday night. Was that not amazing? Oh my gosh, you and Steve both missed it.
But I caught it on Sunday.
Oh.
But he posted it on YouTube.
It was great. You know, but when you watch, the thing about the Trump rallies, when you don't watch it live, it's not the same. You got to watch it live when it's really happening to really feel it. You know?
I get a lot of spinning and interference. We're not in a big city.
I see. Okay. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much for the call. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Juan.
You know, the one thing that I haven't heard so far mentioned on your show is Russia Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Russia Fox News.
Well, Steve doesn't accept that Fox News are never Trumpers.
Ridiculous.
He won't.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to accept that. You know why? Because you know they do have Lara Ingraham. They do have Tucker Carlson.
And Sean.
That's the only time that I listen.
And Sean, I mean, what?
They didn't carry the rally, Steve.
If you tune in, there are people on the executive level at Fox that are not Trump supporters.
No doubt about that. Paul Ryan.
But that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we're the ones that believe in getting both sides out and both opinions out to discuss it. And
but we don't need another CNN.
That's right. That's right. It's pretty close.
It really angers me. I watch Fox all day, and it's pro-Trump.
Really? Pro-Trump? They didn't run the rally. They didn't carry the rallies. They haven't.
Decision.
That's a big deal, though.
You hear it swelling when you watch the who's the black hostess?
Harris Faulkner. I like Harris Faulkner.
Harris Faulkner is terrific.
Yeah, I like her.
Doesn't pull her punch. Well, what do you want? I mean, that's the programming all day long at Fox.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Juan. Yeah, of course you can.
As far as what you mentioned earlier, Let Trump Be Trump, by that book.
Mm-hmm.
His answer was about Donald. I mean, more people, twice more people, I mean, I don't know, infinitely more people love Donald Trump than...
Eric, you mean Eric Bolling and Chris Salcedo. You got the names, the first and the last names mixed up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. And then I also listened to Sean Spicer, who was his press secretary, and then the best is Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly's the best. I mean, the Greg Kelly show is don't miss. And I watched last night because I was so pissed at Fox for not carrying the rally. I watched at 8 o'clock last night instead of Tucker Stitchfield, who comes on at 8 o'clock on Newsmax. He's better than Tucker Carlson. I was like blown away.
Tucker Carlson, and then at 11, because I'm driving all night, I got a trucking company, then when it comes on, since I got the Newsmax app, then I put on
It's damn good. That Newsmax is great, and Greg Kelly is the one. He dug out the story last week with the proof of Biden getting the endorsement of George Wallace for a Senate run. I'd never heard that ever before, and he had it, and he showed the newspaper clipping of it. Greg Kelly.
But I'm way older than you. But all these segregationists, they all...
Well, no, he didn't just say it. Greg Kelly had the newspaper clipping of it. It was amazing. Greg Kelly, 7 o'clock on Newsmax, I think is the best show on cable news.
I know at first it's kind of difficult to go away from your routine. It took a lot for me to get away from Fox. But I'll tell you right now, that lineup between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, I don't watch Finchfield, although I have before, but he's great.
Mm-hmm.
I catch up to him later.
Well, it took about 10 years for me to get Steve on One American News, or about 5 years. And now you're losing One American News on your DirecTV, Steve. You got Newsmax, though.
I've been watching Newsmax.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Juan, great call. Thanks for the call. And you guys, you hear Juan. He's in one of our commercials for Champagne Automotive Repair. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the day. Come back with the Gold Report with William Youngerman. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Back with the Gold Report and your calls, and Steve Kane, who's back from COVID after this.
Good America, our nation was
Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone, please thank Jacqueline for that $20 super sticker.
There is a solution to this problem. Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam gloves and associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way,
Hey there.
supply chain issues will
Oh, I didn't have time because I was on the air when I talked to you yesterday. I have like a couple of recordings of you that I've edited the numbers out on. So when you're not here, like I can't get you, I'll run in that place, and then I'll give the prices after. So that's what I did yesterday, for example. All right, hold on.
contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919 area code 654-6870. Learn more about this opportunity 6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how's it going?
Good morning, Brian. Hey, before we get started, I'd like to share some news that I just found out about. Many of you were greeted by our office manager for many years, Leah Oster. She retired a few years ago, but was with us for over 20 years. We just found out that she lost her battle with COVID yesterday and has gone home to be with the Lord. She was a loving mother and a grandmother and a beautiful Christian woman whom we knew and enjoyed for over 20 years. And then just wanted to share that news, but she was an asset and a wonderful person, and we're going to miss her.
Oh my goodness, that's awful news. I'm so sorry to hear that. I know you were close with her, Steve. Oh my goodness.
Dollar this morning after
Steve Kane Show.
Closed up $1 yesterday at $1,819.
Steve Kane Show.
10 cents the ounce after trading in a range of $1,813 to $1,825. Silver closed up 4 cents yesterday at $23 the ounce, while platinum was up $3 at $9.72. And palladium was down $12 at $1,813. This morning we saw a great turnaround in the precious metals that got down to $1,805 on gold and turned around, ran up to $1,823. Right now at $1,819 the ounce. That's up 90 cents. Silver, a big mover this morning at $23.45. That's up 45 cents this morning. So, platinum up $8 right now at $980 the ounce, while palladium is up $37 to $1,850. Oil over $85 a barrel. That's pretty much what.
Wow, and Valentine's Day right around the corner. William Youngerman, can you tell people some of the great items you have over there that are perfect for your Valentine?
Yeah, we have wonderful jewelry, rings, bracelets, necklaces in gold and in sterling. If you're looking for something that without spending a lot of money, but you just want a nice little gift, ask to see our sterling silver jewelry inventory. We have a huge inventory and sterling silver that you can buy beautiful jewelry for a fraction of what you would pay in a jewelry store. I mean, we put it on the scale literally, and it's beautiful, beautiful jewelry. So we have a nice selection of that also.
Yeah, and I was in there right before Christmas, and you guys were showing me some of the jewelry you have. They have beautiful pieces for both men and women, and also just an incredible selection of watches as well. So, William Youngerman, they open up weekdays at 10 a.m. The number toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, online, WilliamYoungerman.com, and located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. Oh boy, that was some sad news. See, that's why when we were talking about Dr. Lemaski with this new message, he's talking about helping people like you, Steve, that are going through COVID. It's a tough thing to go through. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully we'll be out of it soon. Because I'm just so tired of hearing when I'm watching. Oh, especially you. Was it? But I mean, I haven't had COVID like you. But whenever I'm like really, because it was like having like a really super bad flu. What was it like? Flu, pneumonia?
Like a cold.
Like a bad, super bad cold? Because I mean, you sounded pretty rough there a few days. When I have something that's like a bad flu, a bad cold, when I'm well, I feel like I've gone through a cleanse. Like I feel better. Like I feel, you know what I mean? I don't know. Well, listen, we'll find out about Lara Ingraham. I'm not saying Lara Ingram's not a bad, I'm not saying she's a bad person. I just need some clarity on this particular issue. That's all, because I just want to know what's going on with her. I don't watch her show. It's on too late for me. So I do not watch her show ever. Harris Faulkner is very good.
I mean, I think you negate your.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. I am fanatic when it comes to Trump. That's true. I have a Trump hat, a winter hat, and a Trump shirt on, here. So, I'm fanatical. I'm not going to lie about that. I am. But I was talking on Friday. I said it will be a test of Fox News as to whether or not they carry the Trump rally. And what they did.
Wrong thing. You're judging the wrong thing.
I understand. Yeah.
Level that have nothing to do with the basic programming itself. I disagree with you.
Well, they took it a step further that pissed me off. They didn't carry the rally. They streamed it on their Fox Nation app, and it's archived up there. They're trying to do, we didn't carry it, but it's available here. They're playing both sides. I just find it dishonest because people, the people that support Trump are what made Fox News number one. And I think they're taking advantage of their viewers. I think they're taking their viewers for granted. And and I'm a big Newsmax guy, okay? So I mean, full disclosures here. I mean, I'm fanatical about Trump. I love Newsmax, and they pissed me off at Fox not carrying the Trump rally. And that Trump rally, I believe, was his best rally in years. And it was no question that it was newsworthy.
The overall tone of their programming.
Now, I played this early in the show yesterday before you joined us, and I wanted to play this, yesterday was a holiday. I did not realize what a big holiday Martin Luther King Day was. I just didn't, everything was, no mail, all the kids home from school, a lot of things closed. I didn't realize. And I played this clip yesterday on the show, but it was a holiday, and it was before you joined us. And I wanted to play it again. Have you heard this story about the teacher who was fired because she would not recognize a student who identified as a cat? I know, it sounds crazy. Let me play this audio. The teacher told the story of what happened. And what's going on in our public schools has gotten out of control. Listen to this.
Okay, I've got to rant for a minute. Just when I thought school couldn't get any weirder, it did today. I'm a sub, and the most important thing we do is take roll so the school gets paid. So I'm looking at the seating chart as I'm going up and down the rows and marking who's here and who's not. I get to the third row and I hear this, meow. Excuse me? Excuse me? I started looking on the ground. Go to the fourth row, everything's good. Go to the fifth row, everybody's there. Then I hear, meow. I'm like, okay, what's up with that? Who's doing it? And this little girl in the very front row says, you have to meow back at him. He identifies as a cat. Are you kidding me? Said, is there a litter box in here somewhere? My sarcasm self probably shouldn't have said that. He gets up and he storms out of the classroom. And I'm like, rough. And of course, the entire class is laughing. And I think, no problem, no foul. I go to the office. You ready for this? You check out. They said, we no longer need your services if you can't identify with all the children in the classroom. And you wonder why they don't have any subs. I told the lady, I said, I didn't know cats were considered people. I thought they were pets. Another school off my list.
I mean, things are getting crazy. And this is why this new governor of Virginia is so important, because Virginia is ground zero for this lunacy. And on day one, I think he's done everything he's going to do as governor. On day one, they swore him in. He did everything, right? He ended the mandates. He stopped the critical race theory. I mean, he completed every campaign promise in the first hour that he was governor. But what's going to happen is the most radical ideas in the schools that have led to this insanity that you just heard. By the way, that's a true story. That's a true story. It all starts in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, and a couple other districts. And he's and all the Washington insiders, that's why Jen Psaki was complaining about it yesterday on Twitter. All the Washington insiders live in Northern Virginia. Their kids go to school in Northern Virginia. So he is really, Youngkin is really challenging the powers of Washington, D.C. on this, and it's going to be and they're going to fight back. It's going to be a complete collapse of critical race theory, school mandates, and all this same gender, whatever they have, bathroom situation. It's all going to end. And it's going to start in Virginia, and it's going to be very high profile. And we'll probably see Youngkin on the campaign trail with Trump soon enough. But we're all out of time. You want to sign us off for the day, Steve?
Joining us, yes. In case you're curious, we will be back to do it all over again tomorrow. And until tomorrow, on behalf of our associate producer, Lori Kane, know me, and until tomorrow, God bless Donald Trump. If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences.
All right, guys, listen, before you go, make sure you like the video. If you're new here, please subscribe.
Receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority.
Just turning on our voicemail.
554-597-7060.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pomino Beach.
Okay, the voicemail's now on. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. It was cold this morning, so I wore my Trump winter hat. I'll show you guys. I missed it earlier. I was wearing it at the beginning of the stream, but I can't wear it with my headset. It won't fit. Hey. Yeah, this is a good one. I love this one. See, it goes pretty. That's why I can't wear it with the headset, because it goes up too high. I only get to wear this like 1 day a year in Florida, because it's so hot in Florida, you know. Bye, Jacqueline. Take care. But it's definitely a good hat. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you soon. All right, thanks for watching.